Good evening. So I thought that I would drop in today and show off the beautiful deck that I recently received from Miss Jen Sankey. I supported this deck when it was on Kickstarter. This is a lady that I met when I went to Salem last year, and she's great. If you check out her website, uh, you'll see a picture of her, and it goes into like a little bit of everything that she does. She's just got such like a good heart to her, very warm and welcoming and knowledgeable in tarot. So this is rather exciting that this is her first tarot deck, and she will be coming out with a second with a cat theme. So I would say if you're into cats, totally check out her website as well so you can see the new deck that she'll be coming out with. But from the get-go, just look at this box. You see how shimmery that is? Just beautiful, right? And this is what the side looks like. Now, I did save the sticky note that came with the deck because I thought that was pretty awesome of her to have done that. But on the back, it goes into a little bit about the deck, which is centered around a story. It says to step into the enchanting realm of space pirates, deities, and cosmic intrigue as we accompany Mina on an odyssey like no other, a tale that unfolds with the turn of each card. Meet Mina, our intrepid fool of the deck, a dauntless voyager on the brink of an extraordinary expedition of self-unveiling. Within these 78 cards lies a universe where the strings of fate are woven by the hands of gods and goddesses, while space pirates chart their own audacious courses, defying celestial authority with brazen mirth. Amidst galaxies and constellations, commoners carve their lives into planet soil, casting aside the allure of the pirate's life to nurture all living beings populating this kaleidoscopic cosmos. Yet it's Mina who takes center stage, poised precariously between worlds, straddling the precipice of her demi-goddess lineage and the untamed allure of the pirate's creed. With every step, she unveils the tapestry of her own existence, seamlessly melding her celestial heritage with the unbridled spirit of the space pirate. So you can check this deck out and get it on Jen's website, which is stardustwanderer.com. I did leave her website as part of the post from this morning, but she took enough time to make this very nice sticky note that came with her deck. Again, it just shows just how awesome she is as a human being with that. So I'm going to open this up. As people hop on, feel free to say hi. I was actually contemplating doing another teaching moment, but instead I wanted to kind of keep it light today. Although when we do our next tarot teaching moment, it'll be about the Hermit, and we'll do that soon, possibly even tomorrow. I know that I've got like the tarot forecast coming up tomorrow, but I may hop on earlier in the day to knock out a tarot teaching moment. Just like last week, it was just a busier week. We'll kind of leave it at that with my work. My husband says space pirates are always cool. I have to wholeheartedly agree. And I especially love the take that Jen has with this. So as you open it up, this is what it looks like. The materials that this is crafted out of, it will hold up. Like, very well made. I say this is a rather impressive deck to start off with first thing. And it comes with a really neat quote from David Bowie, saying, "I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring." And again, very colorful and luminescent, right? Now, the back of the cards are just gorgeous. Like, let me hold these up. So this is kind of like how they look. It's like the night sky. See how shimmery that is? And then I'll hold one of them up here. You see that? Look how beautiful that is. Especially based on the lighting that you have. It looks a little bit like an hourglass too. The lemniscate, the infinity symbol. I love just the clouds, just everything, right? Just so beautiful. So I did use these cards this morning, and I did put them in order based on their suits. But even though they're in the appropriate suits, you know, and I've got like the major arcana, of course, set apart from the minors, they are not, say, numerically in order. But either way, you still get to check out how the cards look, you know. So I'm just going to go ahead and start going through these, and I think we'll start off here with the major arcana. So you guys know the Hermit. I love the Hermit card, and I love the amount of detail that goes into all the various settings with the cards I'm about to show you, and Jen's a really playful usage of color. She did have somebody, which I need to give credit to. It says illustrated by Carol Phillips. So that is the person who actually helped Jen with her art for the deck. So got to give credit where credit's due. And I'm trying to be very mindful of the glare here, because I want to kind of get those in here. But just look at that, though. Just absolutely gorgeous. There's just such a playful use of color. And just the imagery, to where every time you look at this, it's going to be something new that you spot with her cards, you know. And there's the central character, so that's Mina. Because actually the narrative for this deck is included within the book with some spreads as well. We'll get to that as well after I show you the cards. I'll show you kind of how the book is laid out. But yeah, when I met her in Salem, she, at an event we went to where all the various artists and so forth were selling their wares, including their decks. Jen was there, I believe, with her husband, having people sign up for this deck, and I saw it with my friend who went with me, and we both thought this was just an absolutely gorgeous deck, though. So I knew flipping through that, yeah, like this is something that I would totally want to add to my tarot collection, you know. And I love how she interweaves the story. So we've got gods and goddesses intermingling, say, with the average person, like with any of us. There's this coexistence there, especially with how, as you'll find out once you get the deck and go through the storyline, Mina has an interesting heritage and interesting relatives. So I think that's really cool, you know. And I see Honor's on here. Hi. Hey, what's up? Always up to look at a deck. Tempt me. And I see Crystal's on here too. Hi. What's up, Crystal? And yeah, I know, Honor. That's the thing. I don't know how anybody generally stays with one deck. Like, they must have such great discipline. to be able to just hang out with just one deck, you know. But I love with this deck how it's diverse as well. So it is not boring whatsoever. It is not generic whatsoever. Like I haven't seen a deck like this, and I mean, you know, I have quite a few that I've accumulated over the years, but this is just gorgeous, you know, and quality paper too. But it's bendable enough to where if you're like me, depending on how you shuffle, you'll be able to get a nice pretty shuffle on it. See, it's pretty cool. But yeah, this morning I totally did a Celtic cross, and I intuitively interpreted it. And of course, I would read in her little book to get more of a storyline on the cards, and it was like really cool. It really did add some insight to them. Really, Honor? You probably have about 40 at the moment. I haven't counted in a while. I've been having to make shelf space for the decks, you know. Now this one, that's Selene. So this is Mina's mom in the deck. But you see how she's got her bottom there, you know. She referenced it in her book as being rather cheeky. I love this High Priestess too. So that's Persephone. That's like one of the figures that I really actually enjoy reading about, her and her mom Demeter. Um, I think that it's such a beautiful but sad story, you know, because Persephone has to be above and below, you know. And so now, so that wrapped up our majors. Now we're about to go into the suits, which this one is the suit of oars. Honor says, I'm doing a little tarot challenge through the email where we do a different spread a day. It's a fun way to start the year. Ooh, well, very cool. Feel free to share that. I'm always down for some new spreads. I would love that. I always feel so fancy drinking out of my teacup. It doesn't take much, you know. Let's see, I will screenshot them and share them on the page. Very cool that works, because I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure there's others in our group who would be down for some spreads. Isn't that cool? Just very luminous, ominous. And again, just that playful use of color. And I love how the moon looks at her deck. Just so pretty, you know. I think the artist just did such a great job. Just look at that. Like, it's just so eye-catching, right? It's like a lot of the predominant color use, because I've got an eye for color. It's like the jewel colors, you know. And now we're moving into the chalices here. Look at that bathtub. That's one of the cards that were, it was part of my spread this morning. And I was admiring that bathtub. And of course, there's a bit of romance within the narrative for the deck. So, you know, the central character does have a love interest here. I mean, who doesn't like a little touch of something spicy, you know, like a little bit of romance with, you know, a movie, a book, or even a tarot deck, you know. I love this one because it's just such a playful card as well, you know. Yeah, I love this one too. It just shows the daily balance that we have to do day in and day out, you know, as we're juggling, and family always being a priority, you know. So I really love that card. I love this one too. He's holding stuff close to his cuff, essentially, and very much intuitively reflecting. It's just such a beautiful card, you know. Isn't it gorgeous, though? Look at that. And I love how, especially the female characters within the deck, it's very much that femininity, you know, very powerful, confident, like strong energetics, you know. I think it's neat how Jen came up with her own story too for this deck. Like, I just think it's rather inventive and clever, you know. Kind of being mindful of how I position here. There we are. Beautiful. Just again, just absolutely beautiful. Just that use of not just color, but contrast. And Honor says, I love the creativity of tarot. Me too. I think that's why we have so many decks. How someone can take the format and really make it their own. I do too. Like, I love it. Just leaves it open to diversity, you know. So many interpretations. It's very much adding to the layers, you know. Look at that Queen of Swords. And I love the monarch butterflies used here as part of the sails of the ship. Just absolutely beautiful. Yeah. I think that sums that part up as far as individually looking at them. And then holding them back up to show off the side. Look at this. You see that? Absolutely beautiful. You know? And like really good cardstock on this. I like them to have a little bend because of how I shuffle my cards. I like them to be able to be pliable. So I think that's a plus. But again, just absolutely just gorgeous deck. Look at that. Look at that play on light there. And then this is the book that came with it. And it's a pretty good little chunky book too. Sparkly. I love a gilded edge. Me too. I'm a sucker for a colorful gilded edge too. Like, I love it. Because it's just, I think we've all had it to where we've had decks where they don't have the gilded edges. And I don't know. I mean, I have decks I love that don't have the gilded edge, but that is my favorite, is when it has those gilded edges. And I like the backs too. I know. It reminds me of those stickers when we were younger. The holographic stickers that we would get for being good in class or doing well on a test. Maybe that's why I like colorful, sparkly things so much, you know. But with this little book here, so it does have a little table of contents to it. It does have the intro, which goes into the story. And it goes into the usuals as far as like how to prepare and clean your deck and all that good stuff. How to do a reading. She did come up with her own spreads on this. The imagery in the book is black and white. So that's what the inside of the book looks like. And say if people read reversals, because of course we know that not everybody does, and that's totally okay, right? But when they do, in this deck it's called Batten Down the Hatches. And I love how with each card, she'll go into like a brief little narrative about, say, the character, because she's integrating actual gods and goddesses into this deck. So like the high priestess is Persephone. And so Jen wrote, Persephone is the daughter of Demeter and is queen of the underworld. She returns Earthside for 6 months and goes back to the underworld for the other 6. Zeus had a hand in the situation, but he was the one able to work out this deal with the fates. So she'll go into the element, which for her is water, zodiac sign Cancer, the planet correlation being the moon. So for those of us, and including me, I'm not a big astrology person. I like how she adds these correspondences, you know. So it's like more info. It's just, and she does this for every card. She'll go into what it means, and then a little brief narrative about the character, which really helps kind of form that story. In addition to, we've got more tarot spreads in the back. And yeah. And as far as about Jen, it says Jen Sankey is a tarot reader, author, professional witch, and teacher. She's been slinging cards since she bought a deck with her babysitting money when she was 14. Tarot has been a big part of her life ever since. If not lost in a pile of decks, she's talking to the moon, doing candle spells, or gazing into a cup of tea leaves. She's the director of the World Spiritual Association. Jen has been featured in many publications. It says she's the creator of 2 tarot decks, Stardust Wander Tarot, which you hold in your hands now, and Enchanted Forest Felines, which will be coming out in 2024. She's also writing a book, Magical Manifesting with the Moon, for Llewellyn Worldwide, which we can expect in 2024 also. And then it shows her website here, which would be the Stardust Wanderer Tarot. And yeah. And again, I love it. I just love the whole deck. And again, I'm not like a huge, profound David Bowie fan, but I am a fan. I like how she included that quote from David Bowie in here. Again, makes sense to me, you know, because I also think of David Bowie like the Starman. You know, like the one song. That's one of my favorite songs by him, actually. It's about the Starman. So I think that wraps it up, and they fit just perfectly into the box. See that? So shiny, so sparkly. I am so an advocate for the sparkle. And then it just shuts. It closes. And again, she has that little personalized touch there. I love it. I think she knocked it out of the ballpark with it, you know. So that pretty well wraps up, I think, the Tarot Show and Tell. And again, the link to make it uber easy would be in my previous post today about the show and tell. It's right there. So yeah, I'd say click on the link and you can find more out about Jen and about everything that she does, including the deck, you know. And I think that sums it up. So I guess I will hop off here. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I hope you have an awesome evening, and I will see you tomorrow.